Now, there's a very important scene in Black Hawk Down where a general confronts Delta Force. And Delta Force was created for operations like this. And what the general says to Delta Force is, you guys are a bunch of cowboys. And what he's saying is that you guys, you Delta Force, you Special Forces, you guys think you're superior to everyone. You think that we all revolve around you. You think that we should all serve you. You guys are ego-driven. All you care about is glory for yourself. And eventually, your ego, your arrogance are going to be your downfall, as well as the downfall of the American military. Okay? This is the movie, this is Jessica Lynch. And in 2003, she was serving in the war in Iraq. And her team got lost, and they were ambushed by the Iraqis. And then she was kidnapped, but then because she was injured, the Iraqi military sent her to a hospital, a civilian hospital. And the people in the hospital treated her very, very well. And they actually tried to send her home in an ambulance. But when the ambulance tried to reach the Americans bombed the ambulance, so the ambulance had to turn back. But the Iraqis informed the Americans where she was and told the Iraqis, told the Americans, you can come and pick her up anytime, okay? She's safe, we're taking care of her, but if you want to take her home, it's okay. The Americans' response organized special forces to go and rescue her, even though she was not in danger. And the media reported that she was raped, she was beaten, and she was held hostage. Okay? So that's what the Pentagon does. The Pentagon is a propaganda machine. It doesn't care about the truth. It just cares about trying to create a Hollywood movie out of a movie. Okay? Sorry. Pentagon is concerned first and foremost about creating a Hollywood movie out of a war. That's its mentality. We know this because Jessica Lynch, after she was set free, went on TV and said that the military is lying about the incident. I was never beaten. I was never in danger. The people in the hospital treated me very nice. In fact, the nurses sang me to sleep because they were so concerned about my welfare. All right. So this is a huge problem for the American military, for the Pentagon, as they fight this war. You can pull this crap when you're fighting Somalis and Iraqis, but against the Iranians, you need total war. You need to focus on economics, organization, and logistics. Stop doing this crap of optics, okay, and narrative. Unfortunately, it is now the very mentality of the Pentagon to turn war into a Hollywood movie. All right. So this is a paper written by Tanner Merlis at Brown University, and what this author talks about is how the Pentagon and Hollywood are aligned together. All right. So can you read the three major takeaways, Amber?
In exchange for the use of military equipment and personnel, movies and TV program producers must comply with Pentagon entertainment policy, including script changes to align with military goals, including recruitment and public relations. Since the inception of the Hollywood entertainment industry more than a century ago, over 2,500 war-themed movies and TV programs have been made with Pentagon assistance. Pentagon-assisted movies and TV shows framed U.S. wars as necessary and glorious, downplaying or ignoring the human, social, and environmental devastation war causes, particularly for civilians. U.S. soldiers are typically cast as noble protagonists, while those non-U.S. peoples deemed enemies of America are constantly stereotyped.
Okay, so what this paper is saying is that the Pentagon uses Hollywood in order to indoctrinate and brainwash American people to believe that war is good. Okay? So that's true, but what's also true is that by working with Hollywood, it brainwashes the Pentagon to believe that war can be like Hollywood. It can be perfected. As long as you create a good script, it will work out in the end. Okay, and this will lead to disaster in Iran. So think about, again, Donald Trump, where it's a failed ground invasion. And so if it's a failed ground invasion, what you do is you go back, you sit down with Pentagon planners, and you figure out what went wrong and how to never make the mistake again. But Donald Trump does not want to admit it was a failed ground invasion, so they made up a stupid Hollywood movie, a stupid Hollywood script, that this was a rescue of an American pilot, that it will turn into a Hollywood movie at some point. And so from their perspective, this is a huge success, okay? And this is going to lead to problems because if it's a huge success, then do it again, right? And if people think it's failure, prove that they're wrong by having successful ground invasion. All right, so unfortunately, the fact of the matter is that America right now, the American military, it's too dominated by special forces, by Delta Force, by Navy SEALs, who are interested only in their own personal glory. Okay, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying there's quite a lot of them who understand that after this war is over, they can sign a book deal. They can write a book, make millions of dollars, which will be turned into a movie, and then they'll be a superstar. Okay, so that's how they think. And what they should be thinking about are organization, logistics, and economics, because these are the three things that win wars. All right? Okay, any questions, guys?
I personally also think that America is likely to make a movie about saving the pirates in Iran, but I think it will be similar as Saving Pirate Ryan. But could you please tell me whether the plot of Saving Private Ryan is true or is just made it up?
Yeah, it's just a made-up movie. Yeah, most of these things are made up. Okay, they didn't really turn out the way that they do. But like the problem with Hollywood is that it's so seductive, it's so attractive that people think they're true, okay? People think that the movie is more true than real life. And that's how not only the Pentagon works, but also like all of American society works now. Americans live in their own fantasy world created by Hollywood. And the realities of war are too far away for them to care about, okay? I mean, Americans think that, oh, at worst case scenario, the food prices will go up. And you can't really imagine how this war will ever forever change the world as well as America. Okay? Yeah.
How many more of these spectacles do you think America can afford recreating? Or let's say, how many more times would America learn to understand that this optical Hollywood act will no longer work for their plan? Will they ever work?
Okay, that's a great question. The answer is they will never ever learn, okay? Because they live in a different reality. Like Donald Trump surrounds himself with people who just tell him what he wants to hear. And the reason why he's able to go in front of the press and say, what a great success that we had in saving the pilot, okay? The reason why he's able to do that is because he himself believes this, okay? He lives in an alternate reality, a fantasy land. And that's why he's able to so convincingly tell the press and American people that this was a great success, even though if you look at the evidence, this was a tremendous failure. And unfortunately, this will not change. As this war continues, you have more incidents like this. We just say it's a failure that the American military and Donald Trump spin as a tremendous success. And so the American people will continue to believe that this war is going well. Okay? And we know this because this is exactly what happened in Ukraine. For the past few years, Russia has been dominating the battlefield and has been killing many Ukrainians. It's been a disaster for Ukraine, but you don't know this if you're American, if you're an average American, because the news tell you that this war is going great. One more day, guys, and Putin will fall. One more day, the Russian economy will collapse, the Russian people will revolt, and Putin will be out of office. One more day, and Ukrainians will reach Moscow, okay? Same situation here, where one more day, and Iran will surrender. One more day, the Iranian economy will collapse, the people will revolt, and then we'll have peace in the Middle East. Okay? So unfortunately, this is modern war where it's really about optics. But again, if you want to win this war, don't focus on optics because ultimately you're the one fooling yourself. Okay? Yep.
But despite that, America is drawn in this kind of Hollywood and war scene, but I think they still hold dominant position and still holds the strongest military weapon in the world, and they still have, the sovereignty to state and control many of those countries. How can you explain that?
Okay, you're absolutely right in that America is still the empire, and America will not fall because of this war. Worst case scenario, they lose, they go home, okay? So one thing that I want us to think about is that the strategic objectives of the Americans and the Iranians are not actually in conflict with each other, okay? So if you look at the Iranians, they want to get America out of the Middle East, all right? They want to destroy the global economy, and they want to deter Israel. Okay, does that make sense? These are the three strategic objectives of Iran. To remove America out of the Middle East forever, to deter Israel. You can't destroy Israel because Israel has a nuclear weapon, but you show Israel you're strong and you can hurt them if Israel goes too far. And you want to destroy the global economy because you want to reset the global economy in a way that benefits you. Okay, so these are the three strategic objectives of Iran in this war. Let's look at America. America is, okay, destroy Iran as a nation state. Okay? Which basically means you destroy their desalination plants, their power plants, their universities, their reservoirs. And you try to create ethnic conflict, okay? Balkanize Iran, okay? So you basically encourage ethnic uprisings throughout the country, okay? Now the last thing you want to do is isolate Iran. So you want to destroy Iran's capacity to trade with Russia and China. Okay. So if you look at what's happening, one really strange thing about this war is that these strategic objectives are not in conflict with each other. Even if Iran is able to achieve its strategic objectives, it doesn't prevent America from achieving its strategic objectives. So in other words, at the end of this war, what we can expect is both countries achieve their strategic objectives, okay? Which is to say that America is now out of the Middle East, Israel is humbled, and the global economy is destroyed. But at the same time, Iran is destroyed as a nation state, it's balkanized, it's basically gone back to the Stone Age. All right? All right? Does it make sense?